Hey, what's up, guys? I'm BasicallyIDoWrk, and this is The Skin We're In. Today, we have a very special episode because we have the Rioter Identity Group, and we're going to be discussing Black character representation in huge titles such as League of Legends and Valorant. And today, we have George Oliver, Victor Banor, and Jazmine Dudley. What do you guys do at Riot?
Hi, I'm George Oliver. I am a technical game designer on the modes team. I also work with Riot Noir as a strike team lead, making sure that the Black characters and the things that we put out that are meant to engage with Black players are done tastefully and well and respectfully.
And then Jazmine, what about yourself?
I am game production coordinator, specifically on TFT at Riot Games. I am also part of Riot Noir.
And Victor, last but not least, what's up, brother? How you doing?
Hey, good morning. I'm a QA supervisor on Riot's platform team. I'm a strike team lead on Riot Noir, working with game teams to collaborate on either new products, new ideas, but also like our existing products too, just making sure that they are authentic to our player base.
All right, dope. It's lovely to meet you guys. So how was this group formed, and what is your guys' mission statement?
The purpose of Riot Noir is that we're committed to amplify Black voices and increase representation in Riot's current and future products, but also encouraging interaction and relation building with our internal game teams, just making sure that they know that we're available to help support them with their new products.
Now, what does a good representation in a game look like for you guys?
I think specifically when we're talking about representation, I think oftentimes Black characters are stereotyped within games. We're always portrayed as highly confident, which is, not necessarily a bad thing. But also, I would like to see more representation of like characters that are probably, shy or reserved or confident or very ambitious. Like, some characters that you see are often kind of like, gangsta, cornrows, like kind of hard in the video games a lot of times. And I think proper representation will show more diversity when it comes to like personalities, like because some of us are nerdy, some of us are confident and can dance and are gangsta, like it just depends. So I think recently a game that I felt had really good representation was Miles Morales, because it showed a lot of like his life in a authentic representation of like his life, and the fact that he was artistic, that he likes to draw and make music, and he's just like an awkward kid trying to be cool a lot of times and impress the people around him, but he's still like figuring things out. And oftentimes for Black children especially, there can be a lot of pressure to overexcel because we have to be like twice as good at everything. And I think he feels the pressure of, being Spider-Man and living up to that name. And I just felt like it was very relatable and nice to see some wholesome representation of a Black character in a video game. And I really would love to see more of that.
Yeah, for me, it's like putting myself into the story. Like I want that deep immersion when I play games. So I'm always considering like aesthetics. I play a lot of MMOs, and whenever I go into like character creator, I want a diverse set of options, right? Like if I want to make myself in that game, I want to make myself in that game. And I'm often sometimes disappointed when I hop into a game where I don't find I have like the right skin tone or the right hair or like the right hair texture. And I'm like, what's going on here? Like that really, like at that point has taken me away from the game, where I'm like, is this really for me? And I question a lot of things even before even starting the game and going through the game itself.
Yeah, it's literally like 4 skin tone options.
Exactly.
And like 3, and it's always an afro, cornrows,
or bald.
Are there any problematic Black characters that you guys have found in a game been like, oh man, that's just awful?
It's like been a while.
Yeah.
For me to see like a really awful Black character. Sometimes it feels like it's so rare that we even get included that like
yeah, because I think it's getting better. I will put it in a positive light of a character that started off a little iffy but had a redemption arc. Barrett is the first character that comes to mind from Final Fantasy, because in the beginning he was kind of like a caricature, like a Mr. T kind of character in Final Fantasy, was the character that was yelling expletives like and just came off as like really aggressive. I always had a problem with that, but I think his rework in Final Fantasy VII Remake is really good because I think it adds like depth to the character. And even though he is like large and intimidating, he's a softie and he's a father, you know? So we see like a soft side of him being a father and being passionate about the cause and what he's fighting for and how he cares about his friends. It actually ended up being like a case of where I loved the character more than I did originally.
A lot of the problems with Black characters aren't the characters themselves, but the fact that a lot of times that they are tokens. So like, it doesn't matter how good your one Black character is, they're gonna trip up because they're the one character representing an entire race of people. And it's like, at some point, any bad thing about that character kind of represents us as a whole because there's only one of them.
All right, so you guys mentioned that Miles Morales being a great character. I love the movie, I love the game. Are there any other specific examples of like Black characters that you guys think were designed really well or done well?
So I'm going to be completely biased and say that I really liked Senna. The reason why I really like Senna is how dynamic she is as like not only a Black character, but a Black woman. I see her level of confidence and stuff, and it's like, okay, I can be confident, I can be powerful, but also like my softness is not necessarily a weakness.
For me, like, there's a new Black character in the newest Guilty Gear, and like, I'm a simple man, I like simple things, and he's just a Black dude that's got cybernetic implants and a samurai sword. And it's like, the simple things like that are things that we don't often get. We don't often get to be cyborg samurais and silly stuff like that, and that's the stuff I live for. It's like, you could see, like, other people get to see themselves in like silly things. When Black people are represented, it's often like very like solemnly and serious, and like there's a weight on their shoulders and all that. And it's like, sometimes I just want to kick back with a cybernetic samurai.
Yeah, of course.
When you said cybernetic samurai, I just wanted to shout like, "Yo, Afro!" from like Afro Samurai.
So
Like,
I was on the exact same. I love the Afro Samurai. I love it.
that's where my mind went. But like, that's really good call out though. That, you know, about like balance. Like you mentioned, Jazmine, is that like Lucian's character was like that for a while, where like there was something missing, and he always alluded to like, you know, that he missed Senna, or like he was trying to, you know, break her theory. But it's interesting because like with Senna though is like, she's not afraid to take the lead. Like we've seen her like, you know, like in our latest, you know, Sentinels, that like she took the lead on that. Was like, listen, like this is happening, let's go gather people. And then, like she was like, you know, a protagonist in that, and like she was, although partnered to Lucian, she felt like she was really driving the story forward, which is really great to see. And like that balance is so important. And I really, really love like Senna as a character. Like she's still like my background to my phone right now, even though it's been like a couple years. But like I just really enjoy what she means to, like, for example, like how she's opened up cosplay as an example. The collaboration that we did with like Cutie Pie Sensei when Senna came out was, to me, so incredible. And like she did such a great job with like, you know, making that cosplay happen. But like that to me like made me so like really hit me, because I was like, yo, like this looks powerful, like both in game and outside of game. And that to me is just so amazing, where we can take what we would create inside the game and like put it outside, and people gravitate towards it, and they can like, you know, make it their own, and it just pops in real life.
What Victor says about cosplay is like really important. That's kind of like one of my personal like measurements for like how good a Black character is like how easy it is for a Black person to cosplay this character. Because a lot of times you have to do a lot of work. It's like, oh, like I want to get this character's hair right, but like they didn't get it right when they designed the character, so I have to do weird stuff to my hair to get it right and stuff like that. And when you have a character like Senna that's just like, oh yeah, this is just a hairstyle that we as a community wear, so it's not like difficult to do. It's really great.
Already hard enough trying to pick a Halloween costume. So would you guys say that that there's a lack of Black designers at video game studios, and if that impacts at all the like products that are being put out about Black characters?
I would say that there's a lack of Black people in general at video game studios. Like just having Black people in the room, whether they be designers or like producers or managers, like just having people to be like, hey, wait a second. Before we do this, maybe we should rethink a couple things because this ain't it. And I think that's like the benefit of Riot Noir, and what we do is that people at Riot have like a whole group of Black people that they can go to to be like, hey, this is making us uncomfortable, and we want to make sure that like that it's done right. Like, so could you give us, or could you give the voice to like why this is making us uncomfortable so that we can actually fix it? Because that a lot of times is the like core of the issue, is like people all know something's not right, but it takes like a Black person who knows the experience to be like, this is why it's making you feel uncomfortable, and this is like the steps you can take to remove it or to fix it or to improve it.
It's a tricky topic to discuss too, because like at the end of the day, it's still work, right? And folks are sometimes worried about like offending other people, like, you know, not really sure how to put things in words. So I think like having that open door for collaboration and communication is so important there, because it's like a safe space to ask those questions and be like, yo, listen, I understand like you're not coming from a place of ignorance. You like just really want to learn. And the really cool thing about like, you know, Riot and with working with Riot Noir as well is that writers are very very passionate about what we do. Like, we really care about the player experience. We want to make sure that before we put anything out, that we do it justice. So, because like we don't make games for ourselves, we make games for our players. Because we're going to be, you know, shipping it to players, it's got to reach the audience. And if it falls really short, like to that audience grasp, and we don't get them, then we did something wrong there. And then after that, it needs to be discussed. Okay, like what did we do like right, and what did we do wrong, and let's make that better for next time, so that we actually get the correct audience. Because when it hits, we know it hits. Like, we know the players are engaged. The players are like, hey, Riot, like, thank you so much for this. Like, I really see myself in this. Like, thank you for doing that. And when it falls flat, it's like, okay, like, what's going on here? Like, let's really ask those questions. And Riot don't shy away from asking those questions. Like, we want to have that difficult conversation and really, like, you know, get to the root of like what happened, so that for the next time we get to like, you know, make that a lot better.
It's like a partnership where like Riot employees outside of Riot Noir have to be willing to put aside like ego and all of that to come to us for help and come to us for guidance. And then we in turn have to be like a safe place for them to go.
Gentle.
Like if someone comes up to us with a question, we can't be like, you ignorant son of a like, yeah, it's like we come in and we're like, yeah, we understand where this question's coming from. We know that what you're trying to do here is like the best thing that you are capable of, and sometimes the best thing you are capable of is asking for help.
Let me redirect you to where you missed your turn, but you were heading in the right direction.
Yeah.
Gaming While Black is powered by Doritos Solid Black Initiative. Shout out to Doritos for backing the show. Thanks for watching part 1 of the skin we're in. Check out part 2 on the Gaming While Black channel over here. And like and subscribe.